In today's video, we are going to be breaking down Dwyane Wade and how he shot the basketball. Dwyane Wade was a fantastic mid-range and three-point shooter, so let's get down and let's check out how he shot the ball. So off of so many drives, Dwyane Wade would start his shot really low. Now you really want to keep your shoulders lower than your defenders because that's going to essentially make you, of course, faster. And it's always good to be able to practice, no matter what, your shot, whether you're shooting from a low stance at first or a regular stand-up stance. Now, when we see Dwyane Wade pulling up for a shot, we can see that his shoulders were over top of his knees and over top of his toes, especially when we're talking about his planted side. Of course, he is kicking this right leg around so that he can, of course, get his shoulder in line. He does shoot with a slight tilt away from the rim. Now, when he goes up into his shot, we can see that he extends his back at the exact same time as extending his knees. He has good energy transfer up into his shot. Now, some players will shoot 90, 90, and 90. We don't see that with Dwyane Wade. We see roughly a 45-degree angle off of his shoulder. We see a slight angle on his arm as well, away from 90, and we see that his hand is actually tilted towards the left side, and the ball is over top of his head. So Dwyane Wade's set point is actually right over top of the middle part of his head. However, when he goes up for a shot, he turns his wrist so that now his palm is essentially going to be facing the rim when he goes to release that ball. We can also see that he has zero thumb flick on this ball as well. So many players will shoot from here, don't turn their wrist, and they'll add a thumb flick. This can work as long as you still have backwards rotation and arc on your shot, but if you don't, this is how you're going to be able to fix that. And that is by turning your wrist up like that when you're going up for your shot and then releasing. Now we can see here that he has a hard release. A soft release would give him more arc, but less backwards rotation on that ball. A hard release is going to give him less arc. However, it's going to give him more backwards rotation. It's kind of a give and take situation in most cases. And we can definitely see that he has a ton of backwards rotation on that ball, like a lot, like a ton. We can see from here that he gets one full rotation, two full rotations, three rotations, and about 3.5 or maybe 4. That is ridiculous. We can see here that when he pulls up for these shots, even with a snatchback, he's able to keep his shoulders over his knees, over his toes when he goes up for the actual shot. We can see from this angle that he's up on his heels as well because we can see that there's a shadow underneath his heels. And when he goes up into his shot, he doesn't have that much elbow bend. And of course, he has that same release, kicking that leg out. Now, Dwyane Wade has a lower body sway, which means that his lower body sways forward, but his shoulders stay on the same plane going up and down. This allows him to get more power on his shots as well. We can see that really big here where his lower body sways out, but his shoulders stay on the same exact plane. We can see that right here. That sway will also help on fadeaway shots, as Dwyane Wade took so many of. Now, in this case, we can see that his knees slightly do come together. However, it's not really pronounced all that much. And we can see that in this case, he did have a slight backwards motion on his shoulders, but they generally stayed in the same plane up and down. And we can see that he brings that ball up the middle of his body as well. Now, in this case, we actually see that his shoulders are well behind his feet. This is so that he can stop his forward momentum to go straight up with his shot, as he's able to do here. And we can see from this angle that he has a middle finger release. Now, I've mentioned in a few other videos, it's always good to test which release is best. There's a pointer and middle finger release. There's also a middle finger only release, and there's a middle finger ring finger release. Those are the 3 essential releases, the middle finger release being the best because it's the longest finger on your hand. However, if you're around the rim, maybe a center, it's always good to be able to shoot with all fingers because that's going to allow you to do different things when, again, trying to go for that bank shot. However, if you're a guard and you're not really finishing around the rim all that much, you can focus more on the type of release that works for you. I really also want to point out the fact that when he does finally release that ball, that elbow is well above his forehead, which is going to give him the arc needed to be able to have that ball land softly on the rim. Dwyane Wade was one of the best players ever. He's won a championship multiple times, and he has a very consistent shot. I hope that this video helps you become a better basketball player and a better shooter. If it does, hit that like button, subscribe, and I'll see you guys again next time.